Hello everyone, Mr. Nacho here, and today I wanted to bring you a savior build, and it looks a little bit like this. The main class is the hunter with the hunter's mark ability. The secondary would be the challenger with its rampage skill, or you would go for the gunslinger with the bullet storm skill. It's personal preference. I prefer the challenger. I like the rampage skill. It gives reload speed, fire rate, movement speed, and damage. Even if you don't reach the berserk state, you still get a lot of use out of this skill, so I would highly recommend it as well. When it comes to the armor, I'm using the Fey Royal head cover, I'm using the Leto Mark II armor, Leto Mark II leggings, and the Labyrinth gauntlets, exactly at 75 weight. When it comes to the relic, I'm using the Blooming Heart with plus 15% health, crit chance, and crit damage. Then the star of the show would be the Savior with Supercharger on it. And the Shatter Star allows us to do a lot of shenanigans with it. Even though it's considered quite a weak mod, it gives us the fire damage, which then allows us to use the Stone of Malevolence to have the mod up infinitely. And then it allows us to use the Nightweaver's Grudge, which grants us 20% crit chance and haste when we are within 22.5 meters of an entity suffering from a status effect, and this applies a status effect of burning. Whenever you hit a weak spot, it just ricochets to any nearby enemies and just sets them on fire and deals 30% of the initial damage. So this is very nice to get some crowd control, and this is very nice to get some crit chance. Originally it had 15 meters of range, but thanks to the amplitude trait it has 22.5 meters, and this is more than enough to make a good use of it. Then to increase our crit chance and crit damage we have the Akari Warband, and also to increase the crit damage even further we have the Probability Cord. And the last ring would be the Burden of the Destroyer. It decreases our range, but it increases all damage dealt by 15%. This is a ring that you can swap out for something like Xania's Malice. The reason that I don't use Xania's Malice, even though it would be technically more damage, is that this gives us flat 15% damage, and this whenever it's stacked, so stacked after 4 shots, on the 4th shot it would give us the full benefit, after 3 shots really. It would give us 30%, which is double this amount, but this is flat and this always stays with us and this doesn't go away. This only happens whenever we hit the weak spots consecutively. I just don't really like the way it works. The other way would be to go with Archer's Crest to decrease the charge time by 25%. It's optimal as well. You could go with the Singed Ring to increase all damage dealt to burning enemies by 10%. It's really nice as well. Or you could just go with the Stone of Balance to increase all of the damage dealt by 7%. All of those are perfectly fine and viable. I just prefer the Burden of the Destroyer for the flat 15%. And since we already have 25 meters, the decrease in range doesn't really bother us that much. It reduces it by like over 6 meters, I guess. So this would be 19 meters or 18 meters of perfect range. So this is more than enough. When it comes to the traits, we have Long Shot and Strong Back because of the archetypes that we chose. We have Triage and Regrowth to get a lot of HP back. We have Fortify to take as little damage as possible. We have Swiftness at 7 points to get to the 10% threshold. We have Vigor and Expertise. And we also have, before mentioned, the Amplitude. We have 1 point left. I put it in Footwork. You can put it in whatever you'd like. But Footwork just works well, and 1 point is 5%, which is noticeable already. So now let me show you the DPS that this weapon does, and it's quite nice. As you can see, we are getting some quite high crits. 5k now. The DPS is around 3,500, 4,000. I messed it up there. I should have used it earlier. It would have increased the DPS, but this is okay. Still about 4,000, 3,500. It's really acceptable in my opinion. And as you can see, the Rampage skill just keeps going. We don't really stack it very fast, but it's still with us, so it's really useful. and whenever we finally trigger it, it will give us just a short window to finish off whatever we are fighting, but at this point it should already be dead. 200,000 damage dealt. Here is the Berserk state. 7k crits. Increase reload speed. And last magazine with Berserk on, and it just ran off. So it's about 3800 DPS, about 4k in general, I would say. This is a really respectable DPS, and as you can see, the crits can get pretty high. So we can easily one-tap most enemies on the Apocalypse difficulty, and we can keep the Rampage stacks just going and going for a really long time. So that would be it for the shooting range. Now let me show you some clips that I think really complement the playstyle of the Savior. These are some boss fights that have some ads on them. So this will just show you how the mod really works whenever it has some room to shine. And please let me know what you think in the comments below, and have a great day.